Good morning. My name is Lindsay Jamison Powell, and I work for the Comox Valley Head Injury Society. I'm here to speak with you about acquired brain injuries and the services that the Comox Valley Head Injury Society provides. What is a brain injury? It is any damage to the brain affecting a person. That is that the functional ability of nerve cells in the brain are no longer functioning. It affects people physically, cognitively, and or emotionally. It is not something you're born with. It's not degenerative. It's not hereditary, and it's not congenital. There's two types of brain injuries: non-traumatic and traumatic. Non-traumatic often is referred to as an acquired brain injury, with the damage to the brain being caused by internal factors. Examples can include tumors, lack of oxygen, exposure to toxins, or illnesses such as encephalitis. A traumatic brain injury, aka a TBI, is an alteration of the brain function caused by an external force. Two primary mechanisms are those involving impact to the head and those that are inertial forces. So one, you've hit your head, and the other one, you don't hit your head, but your head's moved back and forth so quickly that the brain has hit the sides of your skull inside and bruised. There are some common misconceptions. That one is that you need to be unconscious. This is what everyone used to believe, but through research, it's found that that's not the case. That the severity of the injury dictates the outcome. A simple fall where you hit your head could result in injuries that don't reflect what actually happened. That you need to have banged your head, but your head is like an egg, and you can do damage to the yolk inside that egg without even hitting it. And it's immediately apparent that you've injured your brain. It can actually take up several days before the effects become apparent. Brain injuries always show up on CT scans or MRIs, which isn't the case. My mother's had 2 strokes, and neither of them showed up on her CT scan or her MRI the day of the strokes. Instead, they showed up days later when it was too late to do any treatment. There are physical effects when it comes to head injuries. Fatigue and energy crash. So you can get tired easily. You may need naps, or you may just need to sit down constantly just to allow that gas tank, which seems to have a hole in it, to refill. You could have difficulties with sleep, or you can't get to sleep, or you can't wake up from a sleep, or you're up and down all night. You have headaches or chronic pain. There are changes in auditory perception, which means things are all of a sudden sound really loud or are jumbled together, or you have tinnitus, so a constant ringing in your ear. You have visual perception changes. Either the lights are too bright, blurred, or sometimes distorted vision. Fluorescent lights are notorious because they kind of flicker, and the regular eye just accepts that, but someone who's had a brain injury struggles with that. Visual and spatial 3D gets lost easily. You could be reaching for something, and that where you think it is isn't actually where it is. And you could lose your sense of smell or taste, or food that tasted great one day will taste completely different the next. Unable to feel correct temperatures. So when you're cooking, you may go and touch something really hot and burn yourself and not realize it. Difficulty swallowing, problems with balance and or coordination, paralysis or weakness, altered sensations, muscle spasms, or what we call spasticity, and I still said it wrong, and seizures. Cognitive effects can be difficulty concentrating, memory problems, forgetting things, either short-term or long-term memories, Slowed thinking, you may need more time for processing. Flooding, so your brain becomes so overwhelmed that it shuts down. Sequencing problems, so what you normally would do 1, 2, 3 in a row, you may try and do 3 instead of 1 because in your mind it made sense. Difficulties learning new things or understanding new things. Perseveration, going over the same thing over and over and over again, which can in turn affect your sleep. Rigid thinking. Communication difficulties, losing words, or you think you've said something and you've said something completely different. Multitasking. Reason and judgment. Decision-making and problem solving. And planning. And the ability to make plans and keep them. Your emotional effects can be a reduced self-awareness, increased focus on yourself, emotional lability, which means that your emotions change on a dime or you react inappropriately. So you should be crying, but you're laughing. Depression, anxiety, and stress. Impatience and anger. Impulsivity. Problems with motivation. Either you can't get started or you can't finish. And changes in social skills. So not being able to read the social environment you're in. Secondary effects. Your relationships will change. You look fine. You walk and talk similar to what you sounded like before, but this is a hidden disability. So what people perceive isn't necessarily what's going on. Loss of friends will occur as things are no longer the way they were, and you no longer have things in common with those people. Or you can't keep conversations going because you can't keep up with the conversation. Things move too fast, or are no longer able to do the same activities. It's a hard time, or it's a strain on families and children. If you have to give up work, if there becomes financial struggles, and one partner ends up taking care of the other partner. Or in some cases, the children, especially if they're older, become the parent to the parent. People become either unemployed or underemployed. Individuals who once were able to work 40 hours a week may struggle. And those people who are used to making decisions may no longer be able to make quick, decisive decisions. Mental health concerns could be, depression may set in, and there's definitely a grieving process that not only the family is going to go through, but the individual will go through as well. Addiction is prominent in head injuries due to the decreased ability for decision making. And once a person starts, it's much harder to stop when you have a head injury. Homelessness is very predominant within people who have brain injuries. A recent report found that 18% of the homeless population in Victoria identified themselves as having a brain injury. So, who is the Comox Valley Head Injury Society, or CVHIS? Well, we are a non-profit organization providing programs and support services to acquired brain injury survivors, their families, and caregivers in the Comox Valley. Since 1993, our mission has been to promote the health and well-being of our members and to reduce incidences of brain injury in our community through prevention-based education. So what do we offer? We offer education and awareness. We're available to give presentations such as this one, participate in awareness campaigns and community engagement events, especially once things get back to normal. We take an active role in the party program, which is presented to students in grade 10 throughout the Comox Valley. As well, we belong to a number of different organizations or initiatives such as the Coalition to End Homelessness. We do individual supports. We provide confidential one-on-one support to survivors and family and caregivers. This can be done on a drop-in basis, but then right now that's meeting us at the door of our office, as currently the office is closed due to the pandemic. Or you can make an appointment with our case coordinator. She can assist the survivors with referrals to community or government resources, supports by preparing and filling in applications for those services. And we also have a food cupboard, which your church has generously donated to over the years. The food cupboard is accessed by our members when the times are tight and food security becomes difficult. We have a family counseling program, which we offer up to 10 free one-on-one counseling sessions with a clinical counselor for both the survivor and their family caregivers. We have group programs, such as our survivor group, which is a weekly support group for survivors to share their stories and how they are doing. It is a time that many survivors, after meeting peers, realize they are not alone and that the things they're going through, others are as well. We have a drop-in lunch, which currently has pivoted to a takeout lunch every Tuesday. It provides at least one healthy meal and a chance for the survivors to connect with others in a safe manner. Our bi-monthly dinner program has been put on hold at the moment, but we hope to get back to that as soon as it's safe. Group wellness activities, many of these have had to be put on hold. However, we are trying new ways to present the activities that we know are beneficial to our members. Examples of those programs we still have running via Zoom are music, art, and/or art therapy, yoga, and mindfulness classes. Things that we've had to put on hold are our group outings, things such as going to the climbing wall in Cumberland or going fishing, and then everyone's favorite, dragon boating with the blazing paddles. Something I didn't put on this slide was our volunteers. CVHIS has a number of survivors that volunteer as peer supporters. They have taken training and have stepped up as leaders within our community. We all are also blessed with other individuals that help in our kitchen, do taxes for our members, and sit on the board to help guide the society. Let me introduce you to Joanna. She is a survivor of a brain tumor. At 40 years of age, with 2 teenagers at home, the doctors found and removed a large tumor. According to Joanna, it was the largest tumor her doctor had ever seen. It was located inside the brain and had to be taken out in pieces. When Joanna woke up from the surgery, the removal of the tumor had affected her language and speech center, plus other areas of her brain. She remained in the hospital for 10 days after surgery and did 3 months of rehabilitation at home to regain her ability to read and work on not mixing up her words. To this day, she still struggles with the he's and she's and the his and hers. Life before her brain injury included being a very active person. She enjoyed running and taking fitness classes at the local rec center. She was a busy mom and enjoyed her role with her children's lives. She could multitask and had a fabulous memory and was very close with her family. Joanna found her way to the Comox Valley Head Injury Society when seeking support. She was struggling with her family as she still looked like the old Joanna, but was now different. And many of the things she enjoyed before, she no longer took pleasure in. And at CVHIS, she found people that understood her and a place to gain some education. Today, she is a peer supporter, taking a leadership role in many of the activities she is involved in at the Society. You can find her on Mondays leading a CVHIS Zoom room. This is our new way of doing drop-ins, and instead of coming into the office, we get together on Zoom. And she's quite often leading different word games such as Boggle and Pictionary during the Zoom room. She is also one of the main volunteers in the kitchen preparing sandwiches on Tuesday's lunch. She has been involved with the lunch program since the spring of 2017 and has given great feedback during all the changes that have happened since that time. Matter of fact, she trained me on the lunches. Her opinions are greatly appreciated as she gives a different point of view that many forget. She gives that of the survivor. She is also very keen on crafts and has led a couple of craft classes. Her last was making snowmen with stalks, and it was done via Zoom. And there's a picture of it on the slide. What CVHIS has given Joanna is a sense of community. She feels that she is supported and said, "I am fortunate to have found you." Her current passion is painting, a talent she discovered through her art therapy with the Head Injury Society. She has become quite accomplished with her latest work, helping with hunger, the picture that's on the slide. With that picture, painting, she won an online competition to Berkshire Painting, which is a group she belongs to. Joanna has given back to Comox Valley Head Injury Society as much and more as she has received when she began her journey. We look forward to all her future accomplishments. I would like to take a moment to say thank you for giving me this time this morning to speak with you. It has truly been a pleasure, and I look forward to many conversations in the future. Thank you.